Alright, so this video is going to be pretty short. I want to talk today a little bit about a camera called the Sony A7S Mark II. I owe a lot to this camera because I didn't really have a huge interest in cinematography before buying this camera. Before purchasing this camera in 2020, 5 years after its initial release, I was a photographer. And I more or less wanted to be a photographer into my career. But after testing this camera out and wanting to give it a go in the cinematography realm, I was just blown away by the videos I could create with this little camera. The ISO flexibility of this thing to shoot between 5000 and 8000 ISO and still have a clean image still amazes me to this day. This camera also shoots in 4K, which was a pretty huge deal to me back then. I feel like this camera was a really good stepping stone for those wanting to get into cinematography or videography because it was a cheaper option on the market at the time, and it helped a lot of people who didn't have huge budgets or lights or anything like that. So for me personally, even though it took me 5 years to be able to afford the camera used, it still helped me on my journey and helped me to become a better director of photography. It helped me expand my knowledge so much on the subject on cinematography, lighting, and composition. And I feel like without this camera, I might not have the interest in filmmaking that I have today and the drive and the passion to go out and create things. And that's, I think, what makes this camera really special to me. As soon as I got it, just after my first test, it really drove me to go out literally into the middle of the night and just start shooting things in the dark because that's how good it was in low light. Now I want to say, if you're planning on buying a camera in 2022 or 2023, since we're pretty much there, I do not recommend buying the A7S II going into this next year. Matt, who is Matt Johnson, made another really good video on this, so you can watch that if you're interested in knowing exactly why you shouldn't buy it, but just here's a few reasons. The battery life is terrible. The autofocus is lacking a lot. Sometimes I feel like I could trust it, but other times it just didn't work at all. It shoots 4K at 25 and 30 frames per second, but at 60 FPS and 120 FPS, you're getting a 1080 or HD image. It's also lacking in the color category with only having 8-bit internal colors, which doesn't leave a whole lot of room and flexibility, especially when you're shooting in S-Log. But I'm making this video out of respect for this camera because I feel like a lot of people probably feel the same way I do towards it. It was a huge stepping stone for a lot of people to step into the realm of cinematography, and I feel like it made a lot of us better cinematographers, better directors of photography, better videographers. And I think we owe a lot of respect to that, because if this camera didn't exist, you know, at the time where I was kind of feeling down about my abilities and everything like that, and I didn't have it to purchase, I'm not exactly sure where I would have went with my career path. I might have just stuck to being a photographer, which is, you know, I'm not putting any hate on photographers, but I can't imagine myself being a photographer anymore. But I just want to say that I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to purchase this camera, even though it was used, and 5 years after it came out, it still made a huge difference in my life, and that's it. This is just a little tribute video to this wonderful little camera that is totally out of date by today's standards. I'm shooting on the FX3 right now, which is a much better camera all around, but you know, props to the past, and for Sony to, you know, to make a camera that helped so many of us jump into the field and to inspire all of us to go out and shoot more. So thanks, Sony, even though you're never gonna watch this video. But anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. This is a really short one, I know, but yeah, that's it. See you later, or not, if I make another video.